open it up. So I'll recite the shloka and please recite after me. Yasarvatranabhisnehas Tat prapya shubhashubham Navinandati nadveshti Tasya prajna pratishtita. Anybody wants to?
Okay, 3 times.
Yeah. Ya sarvatra nabhishnesa Tat prapya shubhashubham Navinandati nadveshti Tasya prajna pratishtita. Ya sarvatra nabhishnehas Tat prapya shubhashubham Navinandati nadveshti Tasya prajna pratishtita.
Ya sarvatra navi sneha tat prapya subhashubham navinandati nadveshti tasya prajna pratishtita.
Anybody else?
No sarvatra anibhisneha Tat prapi shubha shubha Na abhidant na devishta Tasya praga pratishtita.
And will come Mataji.
Ya sarvatra navisnehas Tat prapya shubhashubham Navinandati nadveshti Tasya prajna pratishtita.
Ya sarvatra napi sneha tat prapya shubhashubham Navinandanti nadveshti Tasya prajna pratishtita.
Ya one who Sarvatra everywhere Anabhi sneha without affection Tat that Prapya achieving Shubha good Ashubham evil Na never Abhinandati praises Na never Dveshti envies Tasya his Pragna perfect knowledge Pratishtita fixed. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. Perfect. There is always some upheaval in the material world which may be good or evil. One who is not agitated by such material upheavals, who is unaffected by good and evil, and is to be understood to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. As long as one is in the material world, there is always the possibility of good and evil because this world is full of duality. But one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness is not affected by good and evil because he is simply concerned with Krishna, who is all good absolute. Such consciousness in Krishna situates one in a perfect transcendental position called technically samadhi. Let's do the invocation prayers. Om Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama. This was, when you read it, it feels very heavy in a layman's language. It feels as if Krishna wants us to not care about anything. That's what a normal person will, who's not Krishna conscious, that's what he or she will get out of this verse. That Krishna doesn't want us to be caring about anything or anybody. But somebody who is a devotee, who trusts Krishna, who knows that whatever Krishna does with his will, whatever Krishna brings us, be it happiness, be it sadness, be it anything, that Krishna conscious person, he knows that it is for his own benefit. It's easier said than done. I understand people who are very new to bhakti or people who are not devotees at all. If you go tell them this thing, that you should not be affected by whatever life gives you. You should not be affected at all. Why are you reacting? Why do people react when something happens? Let's say you get a good news today. That is somebody from your family, they started with a very high rank, high paying job. How do you feel? You feel very happy. You feel excited. You feel delighted that, oh my God, my near and dear one has gotten a job. They're doing so good for themselves. They're making money. And on the other hand, if you receive a news today that somebody passed away in your family, how does that make you feel? Sad. You feel upset. You start questioning, why is this happening or why this happened? Especially if it's an untimely death. You think about it. Or sometimes we have good intentions about something. We go ahead and let's suppose I have a good intention towards doing a chore that somebody gave me. And when I try to go do that, exact opposite things happen. And everybody starts to criticize me. How would I happen? What happened to me? And then I'll sit with my head in my hands and I'll be like, oh my God, I didn't want this. Why is everybody saying this to me? I don't think I'm perfect. I should quit. Maybe I should not come. A devotee who's not at that level in Krishna consciousness, who is given, we all here, we are given certain duties, right? We come here, some people help in setup, some people do in cleaning up after, some people have the prashadam service, some people take care of the kids, do the school, some people do decorations. There's a lot of duties that we get to please Krishna. But a lot of times, while doing these duties, we lose our cool. The other day, like I would say 2 months ago, I forgot something at home. I forgot one of the tablecloths. And I started feeling so bad about myself. And in that moment, my brain didn't think that I should just take a diverted route and maybe think about something else. Maybe Krishna didn't want that tablecloth for his service. I didn't think that. I started blaming myself. I started feeling sad. I was very distressed. So these are situations we deal with in day-to-day lives. जहाँ पे कुछ situation arise होता है, and what we do is we react to those situations, to the questions that life throws us up. But a spiritually advanced person, they do not react, they act. There is a difference in reaction and action. A spiritually advanced person, if something good happens in their life, they do not become overjoyed. and they do not become resentful or they don't get crushed when something unfavorable happens. Because intelligence, it is fixed in spiritual understanding of that I am Krishna's servant. Whatever situation I am in, it's temporary, and my duty is to serve Krishna. Now, when we say this, steady mind does not mean emotionless mind. We are humans. There is no way we can not be emotional. We are not rocks. A Vaishnava has feelings, but his feelings or her feelings, they do not become controlled by material duality. Life is full of dualities. There's happiness, there's sorrow, there's winter, there's summer. Life is full of dualities. But a Vaishnava, a devotee of Krishna, does not get affected by these dualities. A Vaishnava does feel. Our acharyas, they have mentioned, they have asked us to feel for the other Vaishnavas, feel for other people, show compassion. But do you think having compassion and being attached are the same thing? Think about it for a few seconds. How would you differentiate between being compassionate and being affectionate or attracted or attached? How would you differentiate between the two? Anything, give me anything. Whatever comes to your mind.
Being compassionate, you cannot react on that. Like, you think about it, but you are not emotionally attached.
That's correct. That's one way to say it. Anybody else has any insights? How would you differentiate?
Being attached is like being a barnacle to a boat. Being compassionate is like being a paint.
That's correct. Very good example. I'll give you a very layman's example. So, women, they are considered to be more compassionate in terms of emotions towards others. So, a mother and their child and her child. When you see it that way, when a child is born, the child is too attached to his mother. And the mother has so much motherly love and feelings towards the child. But now, for the mother, she has to, if the mother is a devotee, if she is Krishna conscious, she will have that boundary in between being affectionate towards the kid or being compassionate towards the kid. She has to raise the child. She cannot do it with no love. She has to do it with love. But being compassionate is, for example, the child is asking you, like the mother, about everything and anything. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Can you make me this, I want to eat this, I want to wear that, can you get me that? And the mother says, yes, yeah, sure. Why not? I love you, you're my child. I'll do it, let me get it for you. I'll bring it, I'll make it for you. When the mother starts fulfilling every wish without saying anything or without stopping the kids' unnecessary requests, that is affection. And when the mother makes a conscious choice and says that you cannot get this, we have this, we need to be happy, we need to be content with this. I'm sorry, you cannot have this. That is where compassion comes in. She feels for the child, but she knows that the thing that the child is asking for, it's unnecessary. It won't do any good or it won't do any better for the child. Unless it's absolutely necessary, she won't get that thing for the child. So that's the difference between being compassionate and being affectionate. About the same verse, like I was listening to Prabhupada's lecture a few days ago, and Prabhupada says that attachment or affection is due to body, due to the physical body. For example, he says if you are outside India, you are in India, you are outside India, you are in a very remote country, and you bump into a fellow Indian, and you get so much joys. You get joys and you feel happy and you run towards them and you hug them and you're like, oh my God, I'm happy I found a fellow Indian here. That's a reaction. That's affection. And then Prabhupada gives another example of women. There's billions of women in the world, but a man will only feel affection towards the woman in his life. So it's either towards his mother, or towards his daughter, towards his sister, or towards his wife. A man does not feel affectionated towards all the other women that are on planet Earth. Then Prabhupada, he also gives another example of the planetary systems. And he says, yes, we can go to heaven by doing good deeds and still being attached. And after that, he mentions about Siddhaloka. If you have read about the different lokas, there's not only heaven, hell. There's way more lokas above heaven and beyond hell. And we are in between. So Prabhupada mentions one of the lokas called Siddhaloka. And he says, in Siddhaloka, people have physical bodies, just like us. They have physical bodies and they are blessed that they can travel throughout the universe without having any vehicle. They don't need a car or a bike or a scooter to go anywhere, to travel anywhere. But they can travel anywhere. But what is the point? Because they have physical body and that body will perish. They have to die. There's one other story. I do not remember the source of it, but Narad Muni, as we know, he likes to travel throughout the universe. He travels to all different planets wherever he wants. So once upon a time, he meets somebody like a human. His name was Kailash. So Narad Muni meets him when Kailash had just gotten married and had a baby. And Narad Muni tells Kailash, Narad Muni, he usually tries to make people aware about Narayan or Krishna. So he tells Kailash and he's like, I think you've done your material duty. You have a child now, it's time, you come with me. And Kailash says, oh no, Narad Muni, I just had a kid. I would want to wait until the kid is grown up and he's self-sufficient. And I'll come with you then, I'll promise you. And Narad Muni says okay and he leaves. And then the kids are all grown up. The kids are married. And the kids have their own kids. So now Kailash is a grandfather. So Narad Muni comes again at that point. And he comes to Kailash and he says, he's like, Kailash, now your kids are all self-sufficient. Let's go now, it's time. And Kailash says, well, Narad Muni, I just have grandkids now. They're so pretty, they're so beautiful. Let me spend some time with them. I need to teach them with my experience. Who would they learn from if I leave? So Narad Muni says okay and he leaves. Next time when Narad Muni comes to see him, Kailash has died. And now he has gotten into the cycle of rebirth and reborn as the dog of the same family. And Narad Muni says, Kailash, look, now you have left your physical body, you don't have human body anymore. Now you're a dog. It's high time, we should go now. And Kailash ends up saying, my family's gone out. I have to take care of the house. If I leave, somebody can come and rob the house. How can I go? And that's how he keeps on rejecting Narad Muni and he keeps on looping in that cycle of birth and death because he doesn't realize. He's so affectionate, he's so busy in his worldly pleasures of happiness and sorrow that he does not realize what his eternal goal is. So he keeps on going into that loop again and again and again. Then there's another verse in Bhagavatam. It's 2.1.4 that mentions Pashyan Apina Pashyati. The persons devoid of Atma Tattva, they do not require the problems in life. So it basically says that affection is the cause of nidhan or destruction. If you feel affected, it is the cause of your destruction. When we send us to school or when we were in school, material education, has it ever taught anything like that? Not that I can think of. Have they ever taught the kids about the soul rather than body? No, right? They don't teach these things in material schools. All they teach is how to produce and deliver. That is what they teach in material schools. We need to understand the fact that the world will disappear. Every living being has an expiration date. Everybody is deemed to lie. And a Sthitaprajna, a wise man, will never forget this. And he will have very unmotivated affection. So with unmotivated affection, I would say, when you don't have any motive behind your affection, yes, you are affectionate, but you don't expect anything in return. A lot of parents these days, they expect, well, it's my duty to raise a child, but when I get old, it's going to be reversed. The child will take care of me. So what is that? That is motivated affection. You have something that you are needing from that affection. A Sthitaprajna never does that. A Sthitaprajna is very realized. They know that there is no point. And they show affection that's very unmotivated. And unmotivated affection, it leads to compassion. That's where the compassion comes back in. When we do not require anything in return, then we will show compassion. If we require anything in return, then it's affection. In Shiksha verse 3, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says that one who can give respect without expectations in return can chant constantly. So we should not, or at least try not to expect. Small steps, tiny steps. We are human. It takes time. We are very new devotees. Sadhana, it takes a lot of time. But never forget to chant. Whenever you fall in that situation where you know you will react, something good or something bad happens, you know you will react in the moment. Take a pause. Remember Krishna. Do one Mahamantra very consciously. Just close your eyes and do one Mahamantra. Just chant one Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That pause, those few seconds, they will make a lot of change in your life. It takes time. I will never say that it doesn't take time. It takes time. Another example, that's a very common example, would be Prahlad Maharaj. We know his story. We have heard about him since we were kids. Prahlad Maharaj, he was tortured throughout his life by his father until the point that God helped him. The Lord came down specifically to help Prahlad Maharaj. That was the Lord's goal. But Prahlad Maharaj never lost his goal. Have you ever read that Prahlad Maharaj was very affected and he was crying and he was wailing, why me? Have you ever read anything about that? In any of Maharaj's stories, scriptures, is there a mention of him losing his temper and crying about his father torturing him? No, because he was a very high devotee, a high rank devotee like that. He was a Sthitaprajna. He knew that there's no point in me crying. And all he did was chant the name. All the time. He was chanting the name. Whenever Hiranyakashipu tried to kill him, he was just chanting the name. Then another example from our own lineage is Haridas Thakur. He came from a Muslim family. He faced a lot of backlash for practicing Vaishnavism, for worshipping Krishna. He was banished from his own society. But did he lose his cool? Was he crying? All he did was he was remembering Krishna. All he did was he was saying that it's all Krishna's will. Whatever is happening with me is what Krishna wants. And another example would be, somebody was telling me this story a few days ago. It was about Tukaram Maharaj from Maharashtra. I believe he's quite famous. He was a devotee and a poet. So the story goes as Tukaram Maharaj always used to sing the praises of the Lord. And one day some kids of the village, they wanted to do a worship. They thought Tukaram Maharaj is mad. He's a madman. All he does is chant the name. He does nothing else. He's mad. So what the kids did, they brought a donkey. They brought limestone powder. They brought black paint. They asked Tukaram Maharaj, can we play with you? And Tukaram Maharaj being very generous and unaffected devotee, he said, sure. The kids, they shaved his head. They blackened his face. They put limestone powder on his head. Then they made a shoe garland and they put a shoe garland on his neck. And then they asked him to sit on the donkey, reversed side. And they did a procession. And Tukaram Maharaj was just sitting there chanting. He was remembering the Lord. That's what he was doing, unaffected. So they did the procession throughout the village and everybody was laughing and making fun of Tukaram Maharaj. And then somehow the news went to Tukaram Maharaj's wife and she came running through the procession. She held him, she took him home and she asked him, you know what you were doing? Why would you say yes to those kids? Why would you let them play with you like that? Do you not know what they were doing to you? Everybody's making fun of you. And Tukaram Maharaj, he said, well, I'm so thankful to the kids. I was just telling the Lord a few days ago that there's something scratchy, itchy on my head. Look at them, they just shaved my head. I'm so happy. They put limestone because they knew it was sun outside. And I might get hot, so they put limestone powder on my head. And look, this garland, this is so pretty. I really like it. And his wife says, you were on a donkey with a black face and there was a procession. And then Tukaram Maharaj says, you had a wish that on our wedding day we have a good procession. It was not on a horse, but it was on a donkey. But you and I, we were having fun. We had a procession throughout the village. So that is what was the level or is the level of a Krishna conscious person, of a Sthitaprajna, an intelligent person. They don't get affected. If somebody's praising, if somebody's saying good things, if somebody's saying bad things, bad them, they don't get affected. They don't react to anything. Okay, now let's play a game. Prabhu, can we have the mic? Let's play a game. I'll read you a scenario and you tell me what does the mind want to do and what would this verse make me do in that situation. So the first scenario would be a senior devotee corrects me in front of others. What would your mind say? What would you react after this verse, after reading and understanding this verse? Anybody? A senior devotee corrects me in front of others.
That is so embarrassing. That is what my mind would say for sure.
You would feel embarrassed, right?
Yes.
And how would you think, Prabhu, after concluding and understanding this verse, how would you react or act?
At least I should try to be equipoised.
Exactly. You listen to them. You understand what they're trying to say to you. You don't react. You grasp the good out of it. Maybe it's Krishna correcting you through the senior devotee. Okay. Next scenario. I didn't get the service I wanted to do.
Anyone?
I feel bad because I'm disappointed, but the speech partner will think like I'm learning a new skill because they put me in another task.
Correct. A Sith Prajna would understand that service is for Krishna. It's not for my position. I'll serve wherever Krishna wants me to serve. I'll serve wherever I'm placed. Okay. Prasadam is amazing today. It's delicious. Anybody? Well, you don't like the prasadam? Prasadam's really nice today. How would the mind react? And how would an intelligent mind react?
Let me eat more.
Exactly. And how would the intelligent mind react to or act? A realized person.
Yeah, that's however much one needs to be eating or feeling out there.
We should feel grateful and accept it as Krishna's arrangement and don't let the tongue drive the mind. It's tasty, yes, that's what Krishna wanted you to have, but you don't let the tongue control your mind. And instead of praising Krishna, you start praising Prasadam. It is Krishna's one. It's Krishna Prasadam. Okay, one more. Someone ignored me. I feel ignored. I was talking in a bunch of friends and I don't think they heard what I'm saying. They don't listen. I feel ignored. How would a regular person, how would a regular mind react?
I deserve respect.
And how would a intelligent mind react?
It's none of my business.
Exactly. Don't demand recognition. Our focus should be only on pleasing Krishna. How can I serve? How can I make Krishna happy? I don't need to make myself happy. I need to make Krishna happy. When I was reading this verse and preparing for this lecture, like my mind, it actually ended up, I felt for somebody who's very new or for somebody like me, I struggle with a lot of things sometimes. I'm also a learning devotee. We all are learning devotees. And Maya does its thing a lot of times. So the main takeaway that I could get out of it is the 3-step method. So if something happens, be it good or bad, what we do? Step 1 is to pause. Stop the mind swing. Pause before your reaction. Just pause. Step 2 is to remember your spiritual identity. Remember, I am Krishna's servant and this situation is temporary. This too shall pass. And then third step, redirection. What is my next step? What would be my next step? Chanting one round of Mahamantra? Maybe offer a short prayer? Maybe if I have an upcoming duty towards Krishna, maybe focusing on that. But the very easy thing that you can do is just take a pause, reflect, and then offer a mantra or chant a mantra. Calm yourself. And then you act in terms of whatever is happening with your life. There's a lot of other verses that are also in connection with this verse. Specifically, the verse 2.14 where Krishna says, Sukha and Dukha is like winter and summer. It's like changing seasons. And there's another verse, 2.4, you should just do your duty without obsessing about the fruit that you want to get. Then there's another verse, 6.26, that says, whatever happens, wherever your mind is wandering, you have to bring it back. That is where the reflection comes in. You redirect your brain to Krishna. So out of all the things that we read about this verse, or in general, about these situations, about somebody who has a realized mind, who is a realized soul, there are just a few reflections. Pleasant and unpleasant will come, no matter what. A steady devotee is not controlled by either of them. Steadiness comes from tolerance, duty, and taking shelter of the holy name. You only become steady when you chant the name. And final reflection that I request all of you to take next week, upcoming week, whenever you have time, or you're going through life. What is one situation in this upcoming week where I will practice this verse? Just pick up one situation that comes in the upcoming week and then do the 3 steps. What were the 3 steps? Pause, reflect, redirect. These 3 steps. So pause, reflect, and redirect. That's what you do. That is what this verse is telling you. That is how you achieve that situation. That is how you become that. Like Prahlad, like Haridas Thakur. Any questions or any reflections anybody wants to share?
Thank you, Mother. I was just reading the purport again, and Prabhupada mentions the very first line. There is always some upheaval in the material world, which may be good or evil. And then the word upheaval, when you look that up, it is a very interesting word, but that just gives us an idea how good or bad both are, like not what we are desiring or we should not be anyways. So upheaval, the dictionary meaning is sudden violent change or disruptive event that causes significant confusion, disorder, or trouble. So I was just reflecting that even something good can create so much of disturbance. It could be violent, it could be disruptive. So what is that disruption? And I guess that's the disruption that Krishna is helping us understand, that even good or bad, both are going to disturb us. So it's hard to understand, but at the same time it's what you said, I guess, in the class, that it is important to do. So thank you. Hare Krishna.
The Hindi word for upheaval would be uthal-puthal. And that explains a lot of things. Just like a pebble, when you throw it in stagnant water, then a ripple rules. There are changes. Okay, any other, I had one who was raising his hand.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, I'm new to all this, but I grew up listening to all the stories in India. But my question is, like verses from Bhagavad Gita. I apologize if this question is wrong, but like for some verses it says like, don't worry about the fruits, you just do your job. But then you have two options to choose from. Then you go like, oh, if I do this, then my fruit will be this. And then let's say, don't worry about the fruit, then how to choose the right option. Because if you don't see what's the fruit, then how should we choose? And in the end, I cannot say like it's all for Krishna, but I still have to do. And how should I understand all this?
You can take the example of Arjun. He was standing on the battlefield when Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, right? Arjun was so distressed because the army in front was his own people, his own cousins, his grandfather, his teacher. He had to make a choice. That's where he mentions, he asks Krishna, I can run, I can do tapasya in forests, I can take that life instead of me fighting here and killing my own kin. He had a choice, right, Prabhu?
Yeah.
And he knew the fruits of both. He mentioned that if I go ahead with this fight, if I kill my own people, I will lament throughout my life. I'll be sad, losing my own people. And if I go to the forest and do tapasya, I'll be happy. But still, he knew what his duty was.
And I thought about this a lot. And Krishna himself was teaching Arjuna. So, but then later he also get mourned for his son and everybody else, even though he knew all about it. And Krishna himself is telling him, and we don't even have Krishna in front of us. I mean, not physically. And
There's a lot of times where he gets tested. For that, like Arjuna losing his son, he cried and he smiled. Krishna smiled. Because for Krishna, he spoke the whole Bhagavad Gita. And then Krishna felt that me giving all this gyan and still Arjuna is lamenting for his son. So he didn't apply it properly at that specific point. It's very hard to be at that level where we are so unattached to our bodily relationships. By bodily relationships, I mean your family, your friends, your people that you relate by birth or by choice. You get to that level slowly and steadily, but that steadiness, it comes through chanting. So whenever you come in front, you are at a key point and you either need to go left or right. You have to make a decision. We can always do the 3 steps. We pause, we reflect, we chant, and then we trust Krishna and we just make the first choice. It's easier said than done. I understand that very well. But as long as you keep remembering Krishna, he will show you the way. It takes some time, but try to be steady. And welcome to ISKCON WATERLOO.
thank you.
Any other questions or reflections? Anybody would want to share anything? Sure.
कृष्णा कॉन्शियस में एंट्री कैसे हो जाएगी हमारी? हाँ, वो एंटर कृष्णा कॉन्शियस आएगी कैसे? जैसे अभी सभी है कि हम कृष्णा कॉन्शियस कैसे आएगी कैसे? रूप गोस्वामी ने एक बुक लिखे उपदेश अमृत। उपदेश अमृत में एक श्लोक है, वन श्लोक, वाचा वेगम, मनसा वेगम, क्रोधा वेगम, जीवा वेगम, हो जाए फर्स्ट लेगा 6 urges. There are 6 urges in a human being. First, we have to try to control those urges. Why चलेगा? You know what we have to speak. कैसे करना है? Short में होगा. और second आता है मन चलेगा. जो बहुत important है. बहुत important. मन इतना शिथिलता में एक मन है. इतना चंचल कि when say it is semi stage, how to control it? You have to there are speed breakers on the road. They won't stop the car, but they retard the speed. So once away, we have how we control them. During our this thought. There is one is thought and another is vivek. ये thought हम कैसे विवेक में लेंगे? विवेक is the positive form of the thought. Thought is for example thought. अभी हम देखेंगे कभी किसी चीज को देखेंगे, सुंदर मकान को देखेंगे, हम उसी वक्त हमारा माइंड चेंज होता है. किसी सुंदर सूरत को देखिए, माइंड बेईमान होता है. बेईमान मीन्स माइंड डिस्ट्रैक्ट होता है. हाउ टू कंट्रोल इट एंड देन आफ्टर दैट क्रोध. मैं आपको थोड़ा सा कहूँगा, जस्ट इरिटेट यू विल गेट irritated. कुछ करूँगा, रिग्रेट करूँगा, कुछ करूँगा, irritated. And then there is जीवा वेगम, taste of the tongue. तो भी आपने प्रसाद के बारे में कहा, taste of the tongue. And then there is उदर वेगम, जो सबसे control on the hunger, जो भी है. And then after उपस्थ वेगम, that is संतान उपस्थिति, whatever this is, all materialistic things. These are the 6 urges. They are very difficult to control. They are very difficult. अभी कैसे कंट्रोल करेंगे? How we control it? इसमें मेन जो इम्पोर्टेंट है साधु संगा. First it we have to take मतलब shelter. We have to take shelter somewhere. Why will get your type of personalities will teach us. This is the first thing. Sadhu संग is the first thing. And then disciples. We have to take मतलब obedience. Submission. By these 2 things we can enter into the Krishna consciousness. And then there is a bhakti. Bhakti is much more far away from us. These are the 6 urges which we have to control first. They are very difficult to control. If you have got some type of control of them, the things will get open for you. That is all.
Thank you so much for reflecting on that. Any other questions? All right. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Radha Kishore Gopinath ki Jai.
We will be having kirtan now for the next 15 minutes. So if you like, you can stand up and also join in the kirtan.
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी अष्टतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Loudly together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time, loudly please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य कृष्ण कृपा श्रीमूर्ति शिलाभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा माधव की जय। गौर निताय भगवान की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। थैंक यू वेरी मच। हरे कृष्ण। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।